I need the pass rush to take the next step this year before I feel any comfort level in anything. Because guess what? Whether respectfully, what I'm about to say, and he's a friend of mine. The Bengals offense doesn't give a shit if Jermaine Burton does good or not. It doesn't matter if Jermaine Burton does good. Joe Burrow threw for 40 plus touchdown passes with Jermaine Burton, showing up to practice late, getting out of bed late, being caught at the casino and all that. The problem is not the offense. The wide receiver three no matter how much Yoshi Vaz says, "Oh, I'm that," or Burton looks that, it's effectively Mike Gesicki, which is why he was rewarded with the contract he was rewarded with. That all being said, it's all going to go back to the defense. Who on the defense is going to show up? Who on the defense is going to show up? You could change coaches all you want, but at some point the players got to play. I believe in this young secondary. And the Bengals obviously believe in the young secondary, which is why they did a tip of the nod to him, didn't add any vets. They said, hey, we want to run back the same guys. They think health is what hurt them. DJ Turner looked like he was turning a corner. No pun intended there. It looked like Dax Hill was looking like probably the best cornerback on the team before he went out with the ACL injury. Obviously, it was limited sample size. He still looked good at the cornerback spot, and you're hoping that Cam Taylor-Britt could take the next step as a corner. He can get his maturity, his head on right? You're hoping for all those things. And if those things are to happen, then you feel good about where this Bengals team is. For me, I believe there's a couple of guys I'm really, really excited to see emerge on this defense. That's guys like Jordan Battle. I'm really, really excited to see what he does. I'm excited to see if Geno Stone can function in Al Golden's system and will he look like a different safety back there, right? All that. All eyes are going to be on the pass rush unit. How is the defensive line going to hold up? Is guys like Chris Jenkins going to take the next level? Is TJ Slayton going to be that nose tackle that you brought him in to be to sort of stop the run? This defense is going through a little bit of a mini rebuild right before our very own eyes. So for me, there's a lot of questions, unknown questions, especially because, throw out the window everything we might have thought about Al Golden's defense or what we thought Al Golden would bring to the Bengals. He's apparently going to be running a completely different system than what he ran at Notre Dame, which is expected. It's the NFL, right? That all being said, man, it's going to be interesting to see how he uses the linebackers. I'm expecting a bounce back season from guys like Logan Wilson, but we need to put the emphasis and the focus on the pass rush unit. And that's not just defensive end. That's also on the interior defensive line. You brought back VJ Hill for a reason, I'm assuming, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously we need to see more. We need to see what the Bengals are going to do. But those are my thoughts. Logan, what are your thoughts?
Just about the defense in general, real quick. I'm pretty excited to see the linebacking core. I know it's got a lot of turnover, and I know it's kind of maybe not the flashiest position, deemed the most important position. But I think the Bengals linebacker room for so long, no matter the play, it's been a very old school unit, and it's been that way historically forever. And obviously the position is changing, but there's just as regardless of what we want to say about the Demetrius Knight pick, he's a fun player. Mm-hmm. We can complain about his age and the process and all we want, but I think he should be a good NFL player. We all know how much I love Barrett Carter, Orion Burks. There's so much just more juice, athleticism. There's just so much more excitement. There's just so much more to bring in that room that I feel like could help mask the flaws of, maybe both the potential of the secondary and the defensive line. Obviously, none of those guys. So? I mean, a little bit, nothing crazy, but I think a good linebacking core helps everything a little bit just because they're the one unit that's kind of responsible for both the pass and the run a little bit.
I think it really depends on how Golden is planning to use the linebackers, right? Yeah. If he used them more like a prototypical how Lou used them and didn't blitz necessarily all the time with them, I think that's a lot to ask on young guys, which I guess is why you bring in a guy like Warren Burks, because you're expecting those guys to take the next step. That all being said, man, I'm confident in this linebacker unit, but again, make no mistake about it. A lot is still going to be tasked on Logan Wilson to bring those young guys along. For sure. Barrett Carter, intelligent player. Demetrius Knight, intelligent player. You're expecting those guys to pick it up pretty quickly. We still don't even know what the hell is happening with Jermaine Pratt here, right? I have no idea what's happening with playoff P. But at the end of the day, when I look at it, man, I say this Bengals linebacker unit outside of Logan Wilson and Warren Burks is pretty inexperienced.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. But as far as experience goes in the Bengals system and this Bengals defense, outside of Logan Wilson, it's inexperienced everywhere. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think we need to see the next step with the linebacker unit. I don't want to put too much onus on them. I think in the future, these guys can be very, very good. I think that the second half of the season is going to look a lot better than the first half for these guys. I expect a lot of missed assignments. I expect these guys to have a quote unquote some growing pains. But I also think that Al Golden was brought in here to bring a lot of these players along, right?
Yeah.
And to work with these young players and to develop. There's going to be some sort of maturation process with these guys, even for a guy like Demetrius Knight, who came in and was a second round pick. At the end of the day, for me, the biggest question mark, you could have the most standout linebackers, pass rush, pass rush, pass rush. And hear me out. It's something that I believe in full wholeheartedly. You have to earn the right to rush the passer. What does that mean? When you hear the term earn the right to rush the passer, what does that mean? Okay, that means doing the little things correct. So when those opportunities present themselves, guess what? You can take full advantage of them. If you do not earn the right to rush the passer, that's how you find guys like defensive ends, defensive tackles flat on their asses because they don't know what's coming. So what I mean by that is, right, when the first and second down, or even the first down, when they're handing that ball off to that ball carrier who's fresh, ready to rock, trying to rush for 1,000 yards. Trying to rush for 100 yards that game. You need to make sure you mind your P's and your Q's. You need to make sure you're stopping the run. You're being mindful of your gaps. So then when the pass rush come, you're hopeful that you probably got these guys in long distance situations, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 10. And then guess what? That is what we call earning to right to rush a passer, because at 3rd and 13, 3rd and 10, I can assure you it's not going to be a run call unless they're up by a significant margin. So you have to earn the right to rush the passer. And I don't think the Bengals defensive line especially did a good enough job of that last year, which is why you saw them getting gashed at the end of games in the run game. So for me, I'm not disputing solely on what you're saying. I just think that for the first half of the season, we need to see much more out of this defensive line.